So here's what I did Monday morning. I had trouble with anthropomorphisms. That's where I'd say things like, this study will determine blah, blah, blah. Well, the study can't determine anything. The study can illuminate things, I think. But when you attribute active verbs to a study which is incapable of engaging in those active verbs, then that's a problem. And I did that all throughout my proposal. I'd say the study found, and researchers or prior research has found. Well, the prior research hadn't found anything. The prior research is a summary of what the researchers found. So I did a lot of cleanup there. That was after breakfast. And then I also cleaned up a short paragraph I had on page 3. And then I cleaned up the problem statement section. There were some defects in there that had been called out. In the afternoon, the first thing I did was I had an inconsistency as to who the target population was. Sometimes I said it was technology firms. Sometimes I said it was software firms. So I went through and found what I think was every reference to my population that included the title of the study and fixed it to say technology, fixed technology to say software companies. The exact same set of words consistently throughout the entire study, which is hard to find them all. I probably missed a few. I had the research question and hypothesis section that needed some cleanup in addition to fixing the research questions and hypotheses. Also cleaned up the purpose of the study section that had some areas in there that needed fixing. And then I fixed the purpose of the study. The purpose of the study was to understand the distribution of variables and find out whether or not a dominant style existed. That was inconsistent throughout there. It occurred probably a dozen times throughout the study or throughout the proposal. I had to go fix it and make sure it was consistent and in alignment. That was before dinner. Then I went to dinner. Had to buy one, get one free at a steakhouse. So I took a friend out. Went to a steakhouse. We went Dutch. For $20, I had steak and all the fixings because it was buy one, get one free. After dinner, I went and cleaned up the section on advancing scientific knowledge. There were areas where I needed to identify theories and models. I found some theories and models that were relevant, and I put them in there. And I cleaned up the summary and organization section. Had some more cleanup. That was yesterday. I got a lot done. I felt good. Today, broke it down again. 333, before lunch, before dinner, and so on. And I actually got a lot done. First thing this morning, I cleaned up the Chapter 2 introduction, and I started cleaning up the literature review section, which had a lot of problems. And that's what I'm going to talk about now. Some of the problems I found were I had paragraphs with only one reference. Didn't realize I was doing it, didn't know it was a problem. It's called out. Now think about what that means. If you have a paragraph with only one reference and you need multiple references because you're supposed to be doing synthesis. If you only have one reference, you're just reporting on the work of one author. If you need multiple references, which apparently I do, and we all do, and know this before you go in and write the literature review, then your options are actually pretty limited. One thing you can do, and this is what I started to do, was go find additional material that relates to it, put it in your literature review, or put it in your reference section, cite it, and try to weave it into the existing narrative that was already there with only one reference, one citation. That's a rather clumsy approach, and it takes a lot of time because you got to dig up, I had to dig up articles and find, I'd go find one and find it and realize I don't have access to it, and then try to read the abstract and realize it may not be a good fit, and then go find another one, and so on. That was taking me about 2 hours per paragraph to get done. Remember that number, 2 hours per paragraph. I did a couple of them and realized I had a bigger issue here than something I could just punch out in an afternoon. And the problem I had was I had promised my instructor that I would have this thing delivered by this weekend, or at least I would try to. It was clear I had a lot of these situations where there was only one reference in a paragraph. In retrospect, poor writing. Don't do that. Synthesize multiple things, multiple references in a paragraph. So that's one option. Go find additional material and try to weave it in. It's a little clumsy, but it does increase your reference count. The other solution is to scrap the paragraph and just do something else. Well, that's complex too, and that'll easily take 2 or more hours per paragraph. After fixing a couple of them throughout the morning, I realized what I needed to do was to go through and figure out how many I had remaining and flag them, because it wasn't going to get done before the deadline of tonight. That was my plan. Submit this with that listed as a remaining item that I was going to fix. So I went through and highlighted them, the ones I had left remaining. I'd fixed a couple, maybe 3. Spent a lot of time on it. I think I fixed 2. I have 25 paragraphs with a single reference that I need to fix. That's easily 50 hours of work. Simply not going to happen today. So I did the right thing, set it aside. Again, my plan was to fix everything else, submit it, and say, hey, call this out. I flagged it in the document. I know it's an issue. I need to fix it. But the other issues have been fixed. Okay, that was before lunch. A lot of work. Today,